There are people who don't need to shout, don't need to insult you, don't need to do anything extreme. Just their presence drains you. You walk away feeling heavier, tired, and emotionally exhausted. Stoics called them those who disturb the mind, and unless you know how to deal with them, they will control your emotions without ever asking for permission. But Stoics didn't avoid these people, and they didn't react with anger or frustration. They protected their inner calm, the same way you protect a flame in the wind. Carefully, deliberately, and without panic. Today, I'll share 5 Stoic ways to handle emotionally draining people without losing your peace, your clarity, or your sense of self. This isn't about ignoring problems. It's not toxic positivity, and it's definitely not pretending everything is fine. This is about learning how a Stoic faces emotional chaos and still maintains control over their mind. You can't choose every person who crosses your path, but you can choose how much power they have over your energy. And once you master that, your entire life begins to change. Stoic way number 1: clarify what can and cannot touch you. The first thing a Stoic does is not to react, but to classify. They don't ask, "Why are they treating me this way?" They ask, "Out of everything happening right now, what is truly within my control, and what is completely outside of it?" Emotionally draining people aren't exhausting simply because they're toxic. They drain you because you unconsciously allow them to touch parts of you they should never access. Your self-worth, your identity, your inner dialogue. A careless comment is just sound. But the moment you attach a story to it, maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe they're right about me. Maybe everyone thinks this way. You're no longer hurt by their words, Omar. You're hurt by what you told yourself after they walked away. Stoics understood a difficult truth. No one can truly insult you until you take their words and use them to wound yourself. So the first step is not to cut people out of your life, but to cut the invisible power you gave them over your mind. Try to see every interaction through 2 columns. Column 1, what I can control. My attitude, my tone, my response, my boundaries, the story I tell myself afterward. Column 2, what I cannot control. Their mood, their past, their level of awareness, whether they understand me or not. If someone keeps draining you, it's often because you're trying to manage column 2. You want them to change. You want them to understand. You want them to act like a reasonable human being. But a Stoic would say, return the world to its proper order. It is not your duty to correct every person you meet. Your duty is to not lose yourself inside their behavior. Imagine your emotions as a room. People can knock on the door, shout from the hallway, throw their opinions at your doorstep. But the key to the door is always in your hand. Stoic way. Number 1 is simply this. Look at your own hand before blaming the knock on the door. Are you opening the door too easily? Are you letting anyone walk in and create a mess in your mind? Are you allowing their words to become laws about your worth? When you start living like a conscious gatekeeper, not everyone gets in. Not every word gets to stay. Not every expression gets to define you. Then suddenly, the same person, the same behavior, the same comment drains less and less and less. Not because they changed, but because you finally placed them where they belong, outside your inner peace. This is the first step of Stoicism. Stop living as an emotional trash bin for others and become the guardian of your inner world. When this foundation is set, you're ready for Stoic way number 2, the art of silence and knowing when to speak and when to keep your peace. Stoic way number 2, the art of silence. Not all battles require your voice. There is a moment, just before you react, where your entire life can shift. A moment where anger wants to speak for you, where ego wants to defend you, where fear wants to explain you, and where emotionally draining people want to pull you into their storm. Stoics understood something most people never do. Silence is not weakness. Silence is strategy. Silence is self-mastery. Emotionally draining people feed on reactions. Your confusion, your frustration, your need to justify yourself. Every word you throw back at them is like oxygen to a fire. But silence? Silence starves chaos. Not the silence of avoidance, not the silence of fear, but the silence of someone who understands that not every attack deserves a counterattack, and not every disturbance deserves a place in the court of your mind. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You always have the choice to have no opinion." To the Stoics, silence wasn't just not speaking. Silence meant refusing to let the world shape your inner state. When someone tries to provoke you, to pull you into their drama, to get a reaction out of you, your silence says, "You no longer have access to my peace. Your storm stops at my shoreline. I will not bleed energy for battles that do not grow me." And here's the part most people misunderstand. Silence is not passive. Silence is directional energy. When you stay silent, you're not doing nothing. You're choosing where your energy goes, and more importantly, where it doesn't go. Stoics used silence as a way to reclaim the moment, to breathe, to observe, to understand the person in front of them without letting that person dictate the next 2 hours of their mood. It is the art of responding later, with clarity instead of reacting now, with emotion. Think of it like this. A sword raised in anger is wild, sloppy, and dangerous. But a sword kept in its sheath by a warrior who chooses not to strike, that is real strength. Your silence isn't a retreat. It's the decision of a trained mind that refuses to waste itself on noise that doesn't matter. The next time someone drains you with complaints, demands, manipulation, or passive aggression, pause. Don't reward their chaos with your attention. Don't let their noise interrupt your clarity. Let silence be your shield. Because sometimes, the most powerful thing you can say is nothing at all. Stoic way number 3. Protect the inner citadel. Guard your mind like a fortress. Every Stoic believed that inside each of us exists something sacred, a space untouched by the world, unspoiled by chaos, untouchable by other people's moods, words, or behaviors. Marcus Aurelius called this place the inner citadel, a fortress within, where your peace, your judgment, and your soul reside. Emotionally draining people can only hurt you if they gain access to that fortress. Most of the time, we open the gate without even noticing. Think about it. You may leave a conversation hours ago, but their tone still echoes in your mind. You drive home, but their negativity sits beside you. You lie down to sleep, yet you're replaying what you should have said, or feared what they might say next. This is when you realize they never entered your life. They entered your mind. Seneca warned against this more than 2,000 years ago. We suffer more in imagination than in reality. The true damage of an emotionally draining person is rarely in the moment. It's what happens after the moment if you don't guard your inner space. A Stoic protects the inner citadel through intentional boundaries. Not the loud kind, not the dramatic kind, but the quiet, disciplined boundaries that say, "You don't get to live rent-free in my thoughts. Your opinion is not a mirror of my worth. Your chaos stops at the border of my mind. I decide how deeply your words travel." This is a level of emotional maturity most people never reach in their entire lives, because boundaries aren't built with anger. They're built with clarity, and clarity begins with choosing what you allow your mind to hold on to. Here's the truth. Stoics knew well. People can speak to you, but only you decide what echoes inside you. Your inner citadel is not a place without people. It is a place without permission for people to define you, weaken you, or shake you. To protect it, you must practice the art of conscious distance, not cutting people off entirely, not disappearing, but placing them at the right distance, far enough that they cannot poison your inner world, yet close enough that you can still act with wisdom. Picture your mind like a kingdom. Some people belong in the marketplace, distant, noisy, harmless. Some belong outside the walls entirely. Their presence brings no value. Very few, almost none, should be allowed into the chamber where your peace rests. A draining person becomes dangerous only when you place them too close. A Stoic steps back, not to run away, but to stand where clarity can breathe. Protecting the inner citadel is not about isolation. It's about prioritization, deciding who gets access and who stays outside the gate. Because once your mind becomes a fortress, no insult can wound you, no manipulation can trap you, and no draining person can dim the fire inside. This is the Stoic way number 3. Guard your inner world more fiercely than the outer one. Stoic way. Number 4. The discipline of detachment. Release what does not belong to you. One of the greatest strengths of a Stoic is their ability to step back from what drains them, not by running away, but by releasing the invisible ropes that tie their emotions to someone else's behavior. Emotionally draining people often pull you into their orbit. Their reactions become your reactions. Their moods shape your moods. Their chaos becomes your responsibility. And without noticing, your peace becomes something you manage around them instead of within yourself. The Stoics warned us, you suffer when you attach yourself to what is not yours. Most of the weight you carry never belonged to you in the first place. Their expectations, their disappointment, their sudden mood swings, their blame, their emotional storms, their unresolved past. Yet somehow you pick it up and try to carry it, believing it is your job to fix, to heal, to soothe, to keep the peace. But a Stoic knows you cannot be the medicine for someone who refuses to heal. Detachment is not coldness. It is clarity. It is the ability to say, this emotion is mine. That emotion is theirs. This burden belongs to me. That burden does not. This is within my circle of control. That is outside it entirely. Detachment is not pushing people away. It is pushing their chaos back to where it belongs. Because if you don't, your mind becomes a storage room for emotions that were never yours to hold. Stoics practiced a powerful mental habit, the pause before attachment. Before you absorb someone's negativity, you pause. Before you take their words personally, you pause. Before you let their disappointment shape your worth, you pause. And in that pause, you ask a simple question. Is this mine? If the answer is no, you let it fall to the ground, not with anger, not with bitterness, just with understanding. That is detachment, not the absence of feeling, but the refusal to carry feelings that do not belong to you. Think of it like watching a storm at sea. You can observe the waves, you can feel the wind, but you don't jump in to fight the ocean with your bare hands. You stay on the shore, grounded, present, clear. The storm belongs to the sea, not to you. Emotionally draining people have storms too. Loud ones, violent ones, endless ones. But their storm is their sea. Your job is not to drown with them. Your job is to remain on solid ground. This is the discipline of detachment, to stay connected but not entangled, to care but not carry, to help but not lose yourself in the process. The more you master this, the more weight you drop from your mind, and the more peace returns to its rightful place inside you. Stoic way number 5. Choose where your energy flows. Your life follows your attention. In the end, every Stoic understood a truth so simple and yet so life-changing. Your energy goes where your attention lives. Emotionally draining people win by pulling your attention into their noise, their moods, their problems. The more you think about them, the more you replay their words, the more you rehearse imaginary arguments, the more of your life you quietly hand over to them. Not because they are powerful, but because you are feeding them with the most precious currency you have, your focus. Epictetus said, "You become what you give your attention to." Meaning this: if you give your attention to conflict, your mind becomes a battlefield. If you give your attention to negativity, your spirit becomes heavy. If you give your attention to draining people, your life becomes a constant leak of energy. But if you give your attention to clarity, discipline, inner peace, and purpose, your life shapes itself around those things. A Stoic doesn't waste energy on what weakens them. They invest energy into what strengthens them. That's the difference. So ask yourself with brutal honesty, who receives most of my energy? What thoughts drain me the fastest? What relationships leave me empty instead of full? Where does my mind wander when I'm alone? And most importantly, what would my life look like if I stopped watering the things that don't help me grow? Because that is where transformation begins. Choosing where your energy flows is not selfishness. It is self-respect. It is the understanding that your mind is a garden, and whatever you water will rise, spread, and eventually take over your inner world. So be deliberate. Water what brings peace. Cut off what brings chaos. Focus on what builds you. Withdraw from what drains you. Not out of anger, but out of wisdom. And remember this, the essence of the Stoic approach. You cannot control who drains you, but you can control who gets access to your energy. And the moment you reclaim that control, you stop being a victim of draining people and become the master of your inner life. Protect your peace, guard your mind, choose your energy, and let your life unfold from a place of strength, not exhaustion. Because a calm mind is not a gift you are given. It is a fortress you choose to build. At the end of the day, peace isn't something the world gives you. It's something you protect, something you build, and something you choose again and again. No matter who tries to drain you, no matter what chaos appears, you always have the power to return to yourself, to choose clarity over noise and strength over reaction. Because a calm mind isn't a gift, it's a discipline. If this message brought you clarity or helped you breathe a little easier today, feel free to subscribe and stay with me on this Stoic journey. May your mind stay calm, your energy stay protected, and your inner world remain yours.